Sally Field playfully compares herself with Arnold Schwarzenegger's enormous biceps in 1976. Marilyn Monroe showers inside her private 20th Century Fox dressing room in November 1952. The Army's HZ-1 aerocycle began tethered tests in 1954, promising flight after 20 minutes training. A determined cat appears to stage a perfectly timed shelter escape in 1930. Lady Diana plays tennis in 1972. Could anyone have predicted the life awaiting her? Ella Harper, billed as the Camel Girl, became a popular sideshow performer in 1886. A dental appointment in 1892 looked far more intimidating than anything patients face today. Travelers cross India's Sutlej River using boats made from inflated bullock skins in 1908. Diego Maradona faces 6 Belgian defenders during the unforgettable 1982 World Cup semi-final. These women owned the camera in the 1940s. Which one looks most fearless? Jacob Miller survived a bullet through his forehead at Chickamauga and lived for decades afterward. Julie Newmar poses years before becoming television's unforgettable Catwoman in the 1960s Batman series. Prince Arthur appears beside a ghostly figure in an early Victorian photographic illusion from 1854. Paris's Cabaret de l'Enfer welcomed guests through a monstrous mouth into its hell-themed interior. A stylish young woman captures the effortless confidence of the 1960s. What story do you imagine? These are homeless men in Warwickshire around 1900, not models wearing avant-garde fashion. A late 19th century family portrait preserves expressions, clothing, and relationships now completely forgotten. A burst locomotive boiler leaves a train twisted into wreckage around 1880. Claudia Cardinal photographed in 1966, at the height of her international film career. A Racist, 1932. German cartoon imagined France's future. Does propaganda reveal more about its creators? Unsettling mannequins wear early Disney character costumes around 1940, long before modern theme park designs. Student nurses practice beside an expressionless medical dummy, photographed by Anthony Armstrong Jones in 1968. Felix Silla reveals Cousin It's real face behind the scenes of the Addams Family. Major General Robley once owned 35 mokomokai, preserved Maori heads later sold to an American museum. Tutankhamun's ornate sandals survived 3 millennia. Would you call this ancient design surprisingly modern? John Lennon signs an album for Mark David Chapman hours before Chapman murdered him in 1980. Marilyn Monroe relaxes inside a New York hotel room during a September 1954 photo session. A woman offers alms to impoverished residents of Nizhny Novgorod in the late 19th century. Claudia Cardinale studies in bed in 1963, balancing international fame with private concentration. Freddie Mercury rides Darth Vader's shoulders in Houston. Could any encore become more gloriously absurd? The Newby Church photograph of 1963 supposedly captured a towering ghost, though skeptics suspect staging. American nuclear tests used complete fake towns filled with mannequin families during the 1950s. Arnold Schwarzenegger poses beside bodybuilding icon Betty Brosmer on Venice Beach in 1974. NASA astronaut Leland Melvin ignored portrait tradition and brought his 2 dogs into the frame. A woman dressed like Batgirl in 1904. Which modern superhero would Victorians have loved most? A Highland New Guinean reacts during an early encounter with a white visitor around 1930. General Motors' Firebird 3 featured a titanium body and joystick controls in 1958. Donald Trump poses with Robert Libutti, widely described as an alleged organized crime associate. Corps trainees endure eggs and abuse in 1963, practicing calm before dangerous, nonviolent demonstrations. 2 young men hold a mock marriage sign around 1900. Joke, protest, or private declaration? A deeply unimpressed dental patient poses after treatment sometime during the 1920s. A 1967 absence note explains that one husband wanted to attend his wife's planned conception. French actress Mylène Desmongeaux, one of Europe's most photographed screen stars of the 1960s. Lincoln, in 1861 and 1865, visibly aged by 4 relentless years of civil war. King Kong's tiny-looking skyline reveals movie magic. Does knowing the trick make it less impressive? Young women enjoy a beach outing in the 1890s, dressed almost completely from neck to ankle. Teenage Norma Jean, later Marilyn Monroe, goes rowing with friends around 1941. Nebraska's Eva Mae Koppel embodied the fashionable Gibson girl ideal in the early 1900s. Some World War II field rations included cigarettes and chewing gum alongside ordinary food. Brigitte Bardot practices ballet in 1952. Could she have become famous through dance instead? The Harlem Hellfighters return in 1919 wearing France's Croix de Guerre for extraordinary battlefield courage. Stonehenge photographed in 1867, before ropes, visitor paths, and modern restoration shaped the experience. A traveling salesman displays an unnerving collection of glass eyes around 1900. Carolyn Kennedy holds her father's hand during a quiet family moment in 1961. A shadow near Jim Morrison's grave in a 1997 photo was later called his ghost. Coincidence? Robert Wadlow, history's tallest verified man, towers above his family at age 21. A 1,500-year-old Maya figurine wears a removable headdress often mistaken for a modern helmet. Salvador Dalí attends a 1973 Paris press conference beside a model of his own head. Like many 19th century boys, John D. Rockefeller Jr. wore dresses during early childhood. Lena Medina became the youngest confirmed mother in 1939. Why is her story treated as trivia? Prisoners clean a Washington street in 1909 under a system of highly visible forced labor. Prince Charles and Princess Anne are happily buried in beach sand during a 1957 holiday. A French soldier wears an unusually elaborate protective mask during the First World War. Liverpool drama students practice stage slaps in 1939, learning to sell violence without real injury. Bill Clinton plays football in 1993. Which president looked most natural outside formal politics? Guests arrive at the Rothschild Surrealist Ball in 1972, wearing masks inspired by dreams and nightmares. A woman in 1865 poses as a living doll, blending Victorian fashion with deliberate theatrical fantasy. A Coney Island performer creates the illusion of a headless woman before astonished crowds in 1945. A 19th century collector poses proudly with two shrunken heads obtained from Ecuador. Rome's Capuchin crypt arranges thousands of bones as decoration. Sacred remembrance or something unsettling? French medium Eva Carrière produces supposed ectoplasm during a séance photographed in May 1912. Young Tom Cruise appears as Steve Randall in The Outsiders, released in 1983. An Inuit husband warms his wife's freezing feet beneath his clothing in 19th century Greenland. A liberated prisoner identifies a former camp guard in Germany after the war ended in 1945. A 19th century portrait preserves the dignity of a man with Down syndrome. What do you notice first? A man arrested for cross-dressing exits a New York police vehicle in 1939. Goodyear's 1961 illuminated tires used translucent neothane and 18 bulbs inside each wheel. A tiny kitten seems to smile directly into the camera in 1955. "16-year-old Norma Jean marries James Dougherty in 1942, years before becoming Marilyn Monroe. John Smith reportedly reached 137, but historians dispute his age. What do you believe? Pierre Trudeau casually carries toddler Justin, another future Canadian Prime Minister in 1973. Republicans and Democrats abandoned politics for a snowball fight outside the Capitol in 1921. Marilyn Monroe takes a cigarette break while filming There's No Business Like Show Business in 1954. Los Angeles' Track Restaurant delivered meals to parked cars using an overhead conveyor system. This enormous 1938 military radio promised mobility. Would any soldier call it truly portable? Arnold Schwarzenegger supports athletes with disabilities at a public event in 1983. A Victorian woman laughs and plays for the camera, challenging our image of serious ancestors. A Rwandan man displays the sculptural Amasunzu hairstyle, once associated with status and identity. Soldiers stand beside a memorial, honoring millions of equines lost during the First World War. Contestants hide everything except their eyes in Florida's 1930 Miss Lovely Eyes contest. Who wins? Prince Charles watches Queen Elizabeth help Princess Anne climb through a Balmoral window in 1952. A young Oklahoma couple poses beneath a speed limit sign during the 1920s. At 7 feet 3 inches, Jakob Nacken became the tallest German soldier captured in 1944. A San Francisco officer confronts a man without a mask during the 1918 influenza pandemic. King Olav takes public transit during the 1973 energy crisis. Leadership or clever publicity? A child calls police to protect his mother from domestic violence in 1987. A gas station refuses fuel to a Soviet Lada after the invasion of Afghanistan in 1980. Diamond miners were X-rayed after shifts to prevent valuable stones from leaving inside their bodies. Japanese subway attendants, called Osha, physically pushed commuters into packed trains in 1966. French troops hide an observer inside a papier-mâché cow. Brilliant camouflage or wartime madness. A candid New York street scene captures ordinary city life in 1954. Marilyn Monroe photographed in 1962, during the final year of her life. Kim Jong-un and his father used fraudulent Brazilian passports to seek Western visas in the 1990s. Two images contrast everyday life in Afghanistan in 1973 and 2016. A 1950s advertisement sells a pistol-shaped insect sprayer. Would anyone market this today? Young John F. Kennedy relaxes with lifelong friend Lem Billings in 1933. A Walter Reed patient wears a plaster facial cast created for medical treatment in 1937. An East Berlin youth labeled a hooligan by authorities poses in 1987. Sue Lyon drinks a milkshake after the Los Angeles premiere of Lolita in 1962. Two terrified black girls flee police during unrest in Bedford-Stuyvesant. What would you ask them? Kindergarten children draw their fathers from memory in 1949. Then compare portraits with reality. After his wife and mother died in 1884, Roosevelt wrote, "The light has gone out of my life.